guys, my name is Olga. Welcome back to my YouTube channel again. We're building again a new house. This time the main thing of the house is gonna be a little bit different and something that is not used like this usual in The Sims. And yes, we're making the perfect quarantined house to stay in. From my point of view, honestly, you will see that this house has no roofing because I wanted to recreate like the style of one of my favorite architects, which is Mies van der Rohe. I don't know how to pronounce it because it's a German name and I don't know how to pronounce it. And yes, this architect is based that he always thought that the best house structure was the one that it was more adapted to the like the physiological appearance of the humans. So it means it doesn't need a roof. It just needs to be long, wide, and just enough space for you to live in. So yes, you will see that this house, it appears like this. And maybe probably most of you will not like it that it doesn't have a roof, but I think it's, as a modern house, it has a lot of good, like it looks good for me, you know, it looks aesthetically very pleasing for me. And yes, so it's a house that normally it will cost a lot of simoleons, but because it's fancy in the way that it's using marble and white flooring of marble as well in all the house to make it very clear and very soft to live inside. Because as I said, this is a quarantined house that will make you feel like nothing's going wrong anywhere in the world. Just you're fine, you have your pool, you have everything you ever need, you just like have a lot of time and space for relaxing, so you just gotta relax in this house. Yes, it's a house that it took me like a little bit more time to construct because of the fact that I was taking so much importance into the structure of it. And you will see it's not very big inside. It only has one room and one bathroom, but it's enough for the Sims to live, like a couple of Sims or something like that. Yes, so it also based on very basic colors, black and white. Honestly, I think only the kitchen is the only part of the house. We will see later, I think, that it's using these more colorful objects. And I think it's all only white wood or something like that, but I will see. So yes, here I'm trying to figure it out how to make it a little bit more pleasing to the eye from the exterior, because now it looks like more like a bunker or something like that, but I really wanted it to be very simple, nice, super modern, and at the same time I wanted to be a huge reference to this architect that I really love. And I really want you guys to try to search for this architect. There's a house here in Barcelona where I live from this architect. That is not a house. I think it's a convention place. And his topic is always that he wants the interior and the exterior of the house always to be connected. And I try to recreate this with this full glass wall in all the interior of the house to try to connect it with the garden a little bit. And also, I love to use like these kind of more these walls like rocks or something like that, because for me it represents how strong and important are the walls inside of this house. I don't know, I'm not an architect or anything, but I love to experiment and think about like the symbolic meaning of the things. And I really think that in this house I really thought about it. And you will see that for me the walls are very important. In this wall here that connects like this part with the other part, I wanted to use a very bright color because I wanted to be very visible for the people that enters to see, oh, what a beautiful wall there is here, you know. And yes, and in this little space is gonna be the kitchen, which I struggled a little bit because I didn't know which wall use, and I don't remember which one I finally got. But yes, it's gonna be, as I told you, white wood. No, I think I'm gonna change it. Yes, I changed it finally, you see. But it took me so much to decide which color I wanted to use. And as you can see from my last video, my style of kitchen is very similar always. Very clear and very nice. I love to cook. I don't know if you love to cook as well, but I think I cook very good, and I'm very good at cooking. And my dream was always to have like a house in which I could like have a lot of space to cook and just to feel inspired to say, okay, I'm not going to make a pizza from the microwave, but I'm going to actually do it by myself. And I'm very good at making pizzas. Like, actually, I'm really good at doing it. And I don't know, no one teach me, I just figured out how to do it. Oh yes, now I put the cheat on of the bb.move objects on, which is a life-saving cheat. I always say it, and I wish someone said it to me before, because I was always seeing like the YouTubers, the big YouTubers from The Sims, making these huge houses and putting a lot of objects in the same place, and I was like, how do they do it? I always have to leave like a square for each single object. And yes, with this cheat, it's very useful, and I recommend you to use it because it's a life-changing cheat. Oh, and I love this part. This is gonna be like a room that you will see. It has this exterior door, but it's in the interior, and I love it. I think it's very modern, very relaxing, very beautiful, and I love the dark tone of the woods, because for me it's not like sad or anything, but it just, for me, it brings like the old feeling of wood. Like, I don't know how to explain this, but normally in the old houses you will see normally like more this kind of dark tones of wood, and in the modern houses, the way that they take it and they make it so simple and beautiful, I love it. Yes, and so I didn't want to put a lot of decoration or anything in this house, because I always feel like if you are in quarantine, you just need space. You just need space to walk and just to relax and to be able to fresh your mind. And if you all the time have to be worrying about the objects that are around you, or even the people that is around you, like, it's good to have a simple, white, relaxing house for the quarantine. And yes, I was trying to put, yes, a little bit of color, because I'm trying to make it black and white as well, but it's very complicated, because at the end, the result, it's gonna be with more personality if you use a little bit more of color, you know? Maybe the rug that they are choosing now, it's a rug that finally they got from, I don't know, from a travel that they made. Oh, finally! I think finally I made it in white. Yes, I made it in white, because I don't know, man. I don't know. I loved how this rug in sized up, it looks so good. I just imagine myself laying down on that rock, on that rack, not in that rock, in that rack. And yes, and this room, man, I'm not good at meditation or anything. I'm actually very bad, because I'm all the time thinking about things. But that room, you will see what is going to turn out. And I hope you like it, because I think that for the quarantine, people need to relax, to just think that everything's gonna be fine. We need to trust the other people as well, that everyone is gonna do fine. And for that, we need just to relax in our house and have times for ourselves, for knowing ourselves. Oh yes, and now I'm always struggling from where to put the bathroom, you know? And as I give so much importance to the walls in this house, I didn't want that the first thing that you see when you enter is a bathroom, you know? Because it should be something that you should hide a little bit, at least from my point of view. So you will see I'm placing it now here, but this is gonna change because I didn't find that finally it was making like a open space, and I really wanted this house to be like an open space. Like I said before, it was based on this architect, and I wanted to be connected with the interior and with the exterior, you know, all like a one. And yes, that's why I also choose like these rocks, because I wanted it to feel like rustic, I don't know, like more based on the nature, you know, because I think nature is a big inspiring of a lot of architects. I don't know if you know Gaudí. Obviously, I think everyone knows Gaudí, but my city is full of buildings of this man, and man, it's amazing how he inspires he takes inspiration from nature, how he used materials from the nature, recreating the shapes of everything. I adore him. It's my favorite architect as well. And it's a very different style of mine, but I just feel like he was crazy. He was just building crazy buildings in the middle of a city. He was so in love with the nature that he just wanted to build something there. So yes, and I got all these thoughts from building a house in The Sims, and they say that playing video games is bad for your creativity and things like that. Come on, it's the best. It makes you so aware of everything. So yes, now you will see finally I'm using mostly white walls to increase the brightness inside, because I love a house that it's very well illuminated inside, that it has a lot of light. And this house, it's the maximum top of this. And I'm struggling a lot all the time to try to place the TVs and things like that, because this kind of electronics, even though they are really useful for your life and they make you feel like, oh, I'm so happy playing the computer or watching the TV, aesthetically they are horrible. I mean, I don't like how a TV looks like instead of a couch. If I compare a couch and a TV, I prefer 100 times the couch because it's so beautiful. And yes, and also the TV's choices that we have in The Sims is not very good. And I made something very good in this house from my perspective. You will see soon as well. And with this theoretical thing that I wanted to bring the nature inside of this house, I placed some plants in the main wall of the living room, which is something that is zero useful. Oh, look, here I'm using a rock, because as well I wanted it to be connected with the nature all the time, because if you feel like you're in quarantine, what you want to feel is more connected to white space, and rocks and everything like that makes you feel like you're in a forest or something like that. You see, here I'm placing the greenery inside. It's not something realistic at all, but I just feel it looks very good. It's such choice that no one will do. Honestly, I don't know anyone that will do this choice for his or her living room. And yes, so this is the main room. It's not a very full of activities to do for a sim, honestly. Probably if you end up living in this house, you will have to buy some guitars. I think there's a guitar, but you will have to buy some painting stations or just some activities for the Sims, because they will have their fans so low all the time, or they are going to be all the time looking at the TV, because I based the happiness of this house, like the fun of this house, as the fun in the real life, you know. And for me, the fun in the real life is just having sun outside of the house, or swimming in the pool, or just for example meditating. But I never meditate, but people meditate and they think it's very useful. I really think it's very useful. I wish I knew how to do it. I tried so much to do it, but all the time I'm thinking about other stuff. I think it's normal in the beginning. Everyone says that it's normal in the beginning. But yes, you can see here, this room, it's the relaxation room. Like, it's a room that is made for people to be able to just disconnect about the outside world and just accept whatever it has to come with happiness and everything, and positivism, that I think it's an important thing. But at the same time, we should be critical. We should be persons that are aware of the situation and not be happy flowers and all the time. From my point of view, like if you want to live in a happy flower world, it's your choice, and I'm happy with that. Yes, so yes, it's like a kind of a spa house, which not everyone will have. Like, I mean, I cannot imagine myself living here. I will also, like, after a quarantine of 40 days, I will be like, okay, I want to go back to my house and play The Sims, because in this house there's no computer. It's the actual disconnection of the reality, and I love it for that reason. And yes, I was trying to put like more objects around. Yes, because it looked like it missed something, you know? And finally I'm deciding to change the fireplace, and instead of putting it in the meditating room, which maybe it can cause you a little bit of like sweating, I tried to stay with the rug because I loved it, and I put the rug there with some other smaller rugs on the top, and then the fireplace, which I imagine myself here in the night, just relaxing in the fire with your family, and or just your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your cat or your dog, whatever your company is, or if you want to be alone, then alone. Yes, I'm a very social person. Like, I always need people to be around. I'm so grateful that this quarantine I was not like alone, and it ended up happening with my boyfriend and my mother and my father, which is like kind of an awkward situation now, to live with my father, my mother, and my boyfriend. But we are such a big family, and we love each other so much, and we don't care about personal space that much sometimes. But it's good to be around people. I cannot imagine spending 40 days alone, and if someone of you is doing that, I am here, and I'm gonna upload videos, so if you want to listen to me while you're alone, to feel you're not alone, man, you're not alone. I am here also, okay? And yes, I created this bathroom also, chill bathroom, like a spa bathroom. I was very inspired of spa, and I think I used a lot of items from Spa Day. And yes, I created like this stained glass shower. I think it looks very, very professional for a spa. And yes, in this room, in the main room also, I didn't put that many objects, because when you're in quarantine, I think the last thing that you want is just to go to the bed and do nothing. So I made more emphasis on the other parts of the house than the main room for living. So I think now we're finishing what it's going to be like the inside of the house. As you can see, it's not a very full of objects house. It's normal amount, like simple and very minimalistic in these terms. Yes, I was retouching, so maybe I could put a little bit more of color. But yes, we're going directly to the outside, and I wanted to be a little bit inspired also with Japanese architecture, because I know that a lot of architectures from Japan, or also the temples and things like that from Japan and China, are also based in the same ideas as these architects that I named already, with the connection with the nature and everything. So yes, it was like a connecting thing for me to have a pool facing the woods, and always with such a importance of the materials that I'm using in this house for creating this calm environment. And yes, I'm trying to figure it out how to make it like more different, this house, because it's like a square house, you know, not a square, it's like two squares together, and I wanted to give a little bit more of importance to the exterior as well, because if not, it's just a lot of space for nothing. And I placed these bamboos. I honestly love bamboos. I have only seen bamboos once in my life, like in a wild spot. And I love them. They are very beautiful plants and they are very cool. I mean, I wish my country had bamboos, but it has not. It just has normal average trees of Europe. And yes, so I'm trying to make a little bit of terrain painting, and the backyard is getting filled with plants and things like that for just making it a little bit wild as well, because I don't think these people will want a very structured garden. They will just want wildness around. And yes, I'm trying to perfect the walls because I didn't want to forget any wall to be painted, because I know that people gets very annoyed if they see these things, because I'm the kind of person that gets annoyed with these things. If I watch it from someone else, if I'm doing it, I don't care. Like, the Sims don't care, so I don't care either. And yes, I'm making like this space for just chilling around, maybe reading a book, or just talking with someone who is living in your house, because you're in quarantine. You cannot bring friends to your own house. And yes, to chairs here also to have some sunbathing. And yes, again, the tip that I told you. And I wanted to put an umbrella here as well to protect them from the sun. And I was searching one in a specific, but I couldn't find it finally, because there's so many objects in the Sims that I couldn't find. So I finally got like this huge platform with these curtains, and honestly I think it fits, but I was searching for something more simple and minimalistic, and I sized it down because I think it was too big, and finally it doesn't look like that huge, but I think it will be better if with something else. And yes, I think it's almost done. I was putting more like decoration, like to look like it was a little bit more lived in, some candles, and I also will light the exterior of the house to make it look more stunning in the night, because I imagine it needs to be a house that in the night also has a lot of life, like in the nature. In the night, like a lot of animals goes outside to run around in the forest. Yes, and I also choose this tree, which is actually a light. I found it in the category of lights, which for me was very surprising, and I like it because it has these little balloons of paper, and I think it's very cool. And maybe they did an activity and they placed these balloons on the tree to make it more beautiful, or just to spend some time, because in quarantine the thing that you have the most is time, so they just made like something like that. Yes, and I'm trying to figure it out a little bit, because as I told you, from this perspective, the house maybe look a little bit like a bunker or something like that. For me, it looks good. It looks nice. I think it's very cool house. But yes, I wanted to put a little bit of greenery around, at least to make it more alive, because even though it has the wood flooring and everything, with the marble brick wall, it breaks this alive thing, For me, it just breaks it. So I just wanted to place a lot of greenery around. And yes, it's a mess. It's a mess of plants, and I want it to be a mess, because it's like the opposite of the exterior of the house, no? Just make a simple road to enter, and yes, I think that the lights are going to be placed like there in the night. Oh, it's so satisfying. I don't know, but the lights just changed 100% how the house looks. It changed so much. And yes, so I don't think it's that much else, so I'm just going to leave you guys here. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so happy doing this. Like, honestly, I'm so happy doing this job. well, this job, this hobby, and I just wish you guys you have a good quarantine if you're quarantinated, and if you're not quarantinated, just like enjoy your freedom. But come on, let's try all to be relaxed and play The Sims, and see you guys later.